Yay, we're live. All right. So here goes our next synchronous problem solving. Two small random items you wanted to use were going to be? I guess we can't duplicate, so I'll let you pick. I got a lot of crap on this table to choose from.
I have a lot of food, not a whole lot else.
Food is good.
So I have sticky notes.
Important.
And a pencil.
Hey.
I've been doing homework.
Right. So I will choose my coffee because it's precious and keeping me awake right now. And I'm going to steal my sister's hairbrush. Full of purple hair.
Ooh.
Alright. So, we have to describe at least three common problem solving issues facing healthcare with our individual items. So, I guess we can figure out how each of our items relates to healthcare, um, and what kind of problem solving it presents. We can go individually.
Are we supposed to, like, it doesn't have to be the same things, right? And how all of these can apply to them, or?
Well, it just says, so I don't know if we're supposed to do three problems with each item or just three problems in general. But I figure we could explain each item individually and how we think it affects and solves the problem in healthcare, and then wrap it all up with something. We can wing it.
Hey, I've been winging this whole semester.
I heard that. You want to go first, or do you want me to?
Sure. You want to just kind of go back and forth, like one scenario and then one scenario?
Sure, that works.
All right. So, I mean, mine definitely go together. You have to write on sticky notes with something. The most obvious problem solving that these two items can do is communication. Honestly, you'd be surprised how much communication can solve just about any issue. A lot of the time, issues are created just because people aren't telling people what's going wrong, what's going well, what, how they're feeling about something.
Right. A simpler note, the obviousness of the sticky notes that you can do when dealing with your patients, so you don't forget who's doing what. I know
Yeah.
a lot of nurses, like in the ER or whatever, use it's not really sticky notes, but they use like small scratch paper to put all their notes on for each patient, and then for passing off, like if we're doing a transfer or whatever, let me have the notes that they took after they put them in the computer.
Yeah.
Important.
See, this is hard for me because I don't really know anything about the healthcare environment. But I know, like, at the hotel I work at, we have a planner that we just write the notes of everything interesting that happened on our shift so that everybody knows.
Right. You can almost generalize the sticky notes just as paper in general,
Yeah.
which, I mean, everybody needs paper, right? All right.
But you'd be surprised how many workplaces don't have anything to write. Like, hey, this happened, here's a note.
Yeah, and then where's the accountability, right?
Right. It's hard to communicate things across shifts if you don't actually see these people.
Agreed. We have that sometimes, like if the truck breaks down and nobody says anything, And then you try to drive it and you're like, why is it smoking? Nobody said anything. Thanks a lot. I didn't know I had a flat tire until I tried to go on the 911 call. Thanks for that one. All right. So the item here, hairbrush. I don't have a lot of hair to brush, but I love, I guess, generally appearance is very important in healthcare in your professional life. Um, I mean, if you go to work and you see a nurse who kind of looks like a slob, you really don't want them to be your nurse. Most people would assume that someone that looks well groomed and doesn't have hair sticking up all over the place and stuff like that. You don't have food all over your shirt, which I generally do, but very important appearance, especially to your patients. We had a we actually had a doctor once who walked around in blue jeans and like a really crubby T-shirt, and nobody wanted him to be a doctor. They're like, well, he's not professional. He's obviously not a good doctor, and he's one of the smartest people I know. So kind of important.
Yeah, that sounds like what I wear for retail.
I wish. Granted, I love my EMS pants because there's pockets everywhere, but I love my blue jeans.
Yeah, I mean, in my communications class, this is, I'm so confused. Okay, so the book even says um, about how your appearance is one of the first things that people judge you by, and
Right?
it's really important. And I mean, it takes like a couple of minutes, and it makes such a big difference.
I agree. It's really hard in the winter because everyone wears like a beanie or something when we're at negative 30 degrees, like we've been how many times this winter. And it's like you take your beanie off, and short hair or long hair, you're gonna look fuzzy and unkept. And if you're going in and out like some people are, like people like if you have people at the hotel that are like valets or whatever are carried in the luggage, and they take their beanie off when they get inside, and their hair is all nobody wants to deal with this. But I'm
Right?
lucky.
Static is such an awful thing to deal with.
Yeah, horrible. What else you got? What you got? What you got?
With sticky notes, well,
You did the
talk
sticky
about
note.
bright colors. I mean, color coding things has always been something that really helps me a lot with organizing.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like in my planner, every month is a different color. So you look at it, you know exactly where to go. You don't have to spend time searching for things when you could be spending that time doing something more important to the task that you're working on.
Yeah, I am definitely not the type that does a whole lot of organization. So color coding your binders or using highlighters or whatever definitely helps me out. Like red's gonna be the important stuff. If it's in blue, that means I've already done it. Otherwise, I don't get my assignments done. So
Yeah.
you
It's
really don't want
like
to miss anything in healthcare.
in my anatomy class with the coloring book,
Oh, love that class.
I've actually gone through, I don't know if I've got it somewhere. Oh, I do. And I don't know how well you can see this, but I've got every unit color coded with sticky notes.
Look at that.
Yep. It also makes it faster for her to grade it.
You are a lot more organized than I am.
Well, that way I don't forget to do one, you know?
Yeah, I think I just folded the corners down because I'm lazy. I'm buying those sticky notes.
It's whatever gets it done, right?
Yeah, I suppose everybody's got their own system. Um, see, the last thing I picked, my second item was my coffee, my little light flight logo. Um, hydration is very important. Obviously, coffee doesn't necessarily hydrate you, but if you're working graveyard shifts like I am now, nurses work 12-hour overnight shifts, and having caffeine, I guess, or something warm even in the winter put down your into your belly. I think it helps make your shift go better. You don't want to overload on caffeine because then you crash towards the end of your shift, which is never fun at 4 o'clock in the morning. But if you have just enough to kind of coast through your day, it makes everybody else more bearable.
Yeah, nobody wants a grumpy, well, whether it's coworkers or just people you're dealing with, nobody wants to deal with someone grumpy.
Oh my god, I know. I don't like my grumpy coworkers. I'm usually throwing candy at people. You know, like, you're grumpy. Eat a Snickers. You know, I bought pizza. Go away. I think just intake in general. Like I know there's been a lot of issues. I've seen them lately with like saying you can't have food at the nurses station, like in the ER and stuff, because then patients get all mad. I'm just like, well, most people in the ER don't get to leave their desk for 12 hours. So I'm like, dude, you got to eat, because then
Right.
they get really hangry, and you really, hangry nurses are no fun. They get really crazy.
Yeah, that's me at the hotel too. I mean, when I'm there at the front desk, I'm the only person there, so I can't just like clock out for a break. So I
Right.
just sit there and eat right where I am.
Got to, man. As long as you don't make a mess, right? Who cares?
Or clean it up if you do, right?
Right. I like people that complain about seeing like nurses eat and stuff. Or, like when you see, I'm sure you've seen in the news, like where people get mad when they see firefighters at the grocery store or whatever. Like, oh, you're buying groceries on my time. My tax dollars pay for you and your grocery shopping. I'm just like, dude, people gotta eat, man. I'm working for 24 hours. I gotta eat food. I'm not a good meal
Surprise, we're human.
prep. I don't meal prep. I've tried a few times. It didn't work too well. I ended up just eating crap all day because I was like, I don't want that. What I made, I don't want it. So yeah, you gotta get food. You gotta eat, man. Because then you get sleepy too. You know, if you don't eat, which is where the coffee comes in handy.
Although you'll get sleepy if you eat too much too. It's a hard
This is,
balance.
it is. The struggle is real. It really is.
Um,
That's
all
nothing
right.
makes it.
So, do we each have to do three, or is it just like three total?
Well, it says three common problem-solving issues or scenarios facing healthcare professional teams, but we're supposed to have two objects. So we're supposed to do three common problem-solving issues per item, or I mean, I think we went through about two each.
Um,
So
well, the unfortunate part about using school supplies for mine is that these two pretty much are organization and communication. Like,
mm,
I could be more specific, I
exactly,
guess.
could be. Um, I guess the only other thing I can think of, where's my mouse? Yeah. With mine, like with appearance is important for like doctors or nurses or whatever. But I think if you look at healthcare where they have inpatient, I think it's nice when they offer like toiletries to a patient that unexpectedly ends up in the hospital for a friggin' week. They don't have like if they don't have friends or family that can come. Like if I'm on vacation in Wisconsin, my family is not going to come up from Arizona. Well, maybe, but some people aren't going to have to come up from Arizona to come visit them and bring them, you know, underwear and soap and toothbrush. So I guess just being able to have the hospitals give stuff like that to you, kind of nice too. Don't want to be stinky.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're in the hospital, little comforts are so important.
Yes.
Anything to make you feel like life is still sort of normal.
Oh man, you ever messed up a little old bitty 90-year-old lady's hair when she's in the hospital? The ones the perm hair once a week. They got that little puffy fro thing. Oh man, they get so mad. So like if you have someone like we have volunteers and stuff that are generally older individuals that are retired, they'll come in and like do their hair for them. I'm like, hey, you know how you made that lady's day. You
Yeah.
know, it's the little things in life. And the coffee. Coffee
Always
is
the
life.
coffee.
Coffee is life.
Well, for me, it's hot chocolate, but close enough.
But there's no caffeine. Well, a little bit of caffeine in hot chocolate.
Yeah, for the
As
caffeine.
long as, oh well, yeah, you kind of run into that sometimes. Oh, what would be another good communication with a pen and a freaking post-it note?
Okay, so this pencil is a little bit broken. Recycling.
There you go. You're stretching with recycling.
uh, so many places don't recycle. Like Gordman's used to, and then the new company bought them out, and we don't recycle anymore. The hotel, we use so much paper, we don't recycle.
Do you shred it?
Um, well, I mean, we do reuse it to an extent. Like newspapers, we leave out for a week, but then we just throw it away.
Mm, ouch.
Yeah, it. I don't like it. Like as far as the environment goes, it's been all over the headlines lately. Like I think was it Starbucks getting rid of straws or
Yeah, I think so. They came out with those little curved lids that you can sip on.
uh-huh. So I mean, recycling is very much the future, and especially in a healthcare environment, there's always things to be recycled. Granted, some of them should maybe be shredded first, but
Right. Like we have recycle bins all over the hospital, and it's amazing the stuff that you just pick out of the trash. I mean, we have to shred, the health insurance documents that have names and stuff on them, but we recycle probably about 70% maybe of our cans and stuff on the ambulance, but that's just 'cause we use the money to buy our condiments. But, you know, pizza boxes and things always end up in the trash. We don't recycle stuff like that. Plastic. We really don't recycle anything else besides cans and maybe paper that doesn't have personal information on it.
well,
I
and
think at home though.
it's pretty easy to recycle like cans and bottles because you get the deposit back, so you actually get something back for that. Whereas I think it's a lot easier to overlook stuff like paper and cardboard and plastics just because you don't really get anything from putting them in a different container.
True.
So people
You get a
don't
big
think of it.
of it. Yeah. My little recycle bin in my kitchen is like, this teeny little thing, and I'm trying to stick a pizza box in it, and I'm like, "Ugh." I won't even show you the pile of cans I have in bags in my garage. I probably got 200 bucks worth of cans out there that I haven't turned into. It's too friggin' cold.
Oh, we've
Too
got our
cold.
trunks full of them.
Yep. There's definitely a lot of plastic and packaging and healthcare that you really don't think about when you open, if you were to open an IV needle or an IV kit or something silly like that. There's plastic all over the place. You can't really recycle like needles and stuff like the metal, but there's plastic all over the place that we throw away that really doesn't get good use.
Right.
And
Well,
everything's packaged.
what could be interesting is like the needles are the only part, well, sharps you can't really recycle, but well, actually, you probably could recycle metal just in a different way, but that's no needles
Technology.
or anything because bodily fluids and stuff. But
Ew.
I'm not sure. Do you know how often the plastics are separated from the needles and any other sharps?
Well, I mean, the needle comes out of the IV, and the plastic is all that's left on you. But you have like the container it came in, and the paper wrappings. Everything is individually packaged generally, and just ends up thrown in the trash. Some of the instruments are metal that get, sanitized or whatever, but all the packaging that it's in is not. So, and it all just gets kind of bundled up and thrown in a big trash can.
Yep.
I
And it's
don't
not
know
all
how
what?
cost effective it would be for a hospital to find someone to walk around and separate the trash.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of
and
it is,
it's not all employees either. It's
but a
also
lot of the
everybody who walks.
sterile stuff isn't generally covered with. Did I lose you? Oh, nope, there it is. I lost you for a second.
Yeah, the
I
video
blame my
started freezing
sister-in-law.
up.
She walked by, messed up my internet. Can you hear me?
I can now. Yep. I think there's a bit of a lag.
It's her fault. She's pregnant. She's lost a little bit. Yours is coming in better though. So let's see here. So our individual reactions and experience. This is always the hardest part of these group projects. Like, what was my reaction to what you said? I think that anything that we really generally find just sitting around, to try to use it to describe in a specific section like healthcare, like I could probably pick up anything on this table and find some way to relate it to a problem in healthcare. But I think outside of trying to get creative, like we were trying to do with your pencil, can be kind of difficult. But I think the recycling thing was actually pretty smart because you don't really think about that all the time. God dang it, stupid video. There it is. But you don't really think about recycling. I think as much of a stretch as that was, it's a pretty important part. I mean, who doesn't break the end off their pencil or their pen? I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate breaking my pencils like this, but what am I gonna do? Just throw them away or recycle them?
You're not recycling. You must recycle. Uh, but yeah, that does bring up a very large debate and a very expensive debate that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and it's unfortunate, you know. And like other things like the communication and everything, which is always important in healthcare, you know. I don't know. It makes you irritated when you hear about miscommunications that cause people to, patients to get hurt, like, or people to get fired or whatever. It's like if you had just said something, that wouldn't happen. But people just don't communicate well. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes to show with all the objects that we can do anything with. Sometimes you can fix problems with really easy solutions, like communication. It's a pretty simple one. Um, Other times you can get creative, like getting recycling out of a slightly broken pencil.
Right? I definitely agree with that. I think creativity is something that gains more people's attention. Like how do you get from recycling from a pencil? But trying to talk about communication with people, it's like everyone's like, yeah, 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 we all know that. But then it's like, well, you don't do it.
It's easy to say
Frustrating.
you'll do something. Implementation is probably the most complex thing
Hmm.
because one person has an idea, but it's a whole other animal trying to get other people to get behind an idea.
Yeah. Especially if there's not a huge cost benefit to a company.
Mhm.
It's just like, would be good for the environment, but a company is like, well, that's going to cost us money. Where's the benefit?
Uh, Clean air.
Your grandbabies will live a little longer. You don't want to walk around wearing. I'm surprised people in California don't have to walk around wearing, face masks all the time, like they do in
Wildfires.
China or whatever. Yeah, but what can you do about wildfires?
Well,
They're gonna
actually,
happen.
I
Oh,
love
is that a topic? That's funny.
wildfires are actually man-made.
Except for lightning. Now I'm just stretching. Well, I feel like, as a group, or I should say as a team, we're not really a group. I don't know if we're defined as a group, but I think as a team, we're really good problem solvers. Like, I think every time we've done one of these videos, we're like, well, I don't really know. We get something far fetched and creative, and it just goes off in this big tangent about something. I think we do a really good job of that. We may end up doing some of these last minute because our schedules kind of suck, and my schedule is all messed up since they moved me to night shift. I can't even function half the time anymore. I'm like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. Am I supposed to be asleep? Am I not? I don't even know. But I feel like if we had other people in this group, it would be a lot more difficult.
Oh yeah. Like even right now, the last month or so, I've worked well, the last 2 weeks for sure, I've worked overnights after like both jobs all weekend long. And this is the first Sunday night that I've only had the one job in several weeks.
What are you going to do with all your time?
Homework.
Work. Homework.
Always homework.
That's right. Yeah, I still have another. I think after this, we have to do the writing assignment,
Mm-hmm.
which is due in an hour.
Oh, fun.
And then I have another assignment and I'm done for the week. So super exciting. Hey, you're gonna mess up my internet, Pragos. Go away. All right. Well, I don't think we really had any problems with this other than the internet issues. So creative problem solving.
Yep. And the whole scheduling thing, but like
Yeah,
last minute still works, right?
it works. I can type a paper in 20 minutes if I have to. I'll be back. I type it. Well, as always a pleasure.
Yep. Until
Have a
next time.
good luck with not working tonight and getting your homework done. All right, I'm gonna turn this off now. Bye.
Right, yep, bye.